Well, hey, looks like ML Miller Frights has reached 1,000 subs. I really want to thank everyone who have been following me from the beginnings of this channel and those who have just recently jumped on. I appreciate you guys supporting my bizarre habit of watching horror films and feeling the urge to talk about them and dissect them. Thanks for sticking with me through the good ones, the bad ones, the indies, and the blockbusters. And then there are movies like the one I'm covering today. Get ready for Incantation. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. Incantation is new streaming on Netflix. It's directed by Kevin Ko and written by Che-Wei Chang and Kevin Ko. The Taiwanese found-footage horror film Incantation dropped on Netflix this weekend. It comes with much hype, dubbing it the scariest Taiwanese horror film ever made. That's a pretty generous description of the film I saw. Now, while I can say that I have seen worse horror films, the film I saw had some major flaws. But first, let's set the stage. Ronan, played by Xuan Yen Sai, is a member of a ghost hunting team called, I shit you not, the Ghostbusters. When these Ghostbusters arrive at an ancient temple, they decide to throw caution to the wind and enter a barricaded cave that they have been warned not to enter. While we don't find out what happened in that cave until much later in the movie, we do know some gnarly shit went down. Jumping forward in time 6 years, and Ronan is attempting to reconnect with her 6-year-old daughter named Dodo, which they pronounce as Toto for some reason. Dodo has lived the last few years in an adoption agency. Apparently, Ronan's experience 6 years ago screwed her up big time, and it's not until now that she feels like she has it together to become a parent. But 6 years ago, a curse was unleashed, and that curse seems to be haunting both Ronan and Dodo, forcing them to return to the cave and try to find some way to break the curse. So yeah, this is a grudge ring style film where a curse is placed on the leads and they have only a few days before they succumb to it, except in this case it's about 6 years. It's a story we've seen many times before, a concept milked dry in the aughts with multiple J-horror films and their American remakes. I understand this is coming from a different country altogether, so maybe if you haven't seen any of those J-horror films, this might be quite shocking. But having endured that era and come out the other end, color me nonplussed. As a found footage film, Incantation fails miserably as well. First and foremost, the filmmakers don't even try to make this feel like it's some kind of footage found. From the very beginning, there's narration over some graphics about perception, which, I have to say, was pretty interesting. This film also has an interesting way of bringing you in and making you feel as if you're a part of the curse itself. Still, music is constantly playing over the action, so unless Ronan packed an orchestra just off screen, there isn't a valid way for this to occur. Incantation is often filmed from different angles in the same scene, which again shatters any kind of authentic feel to it. Not only do multiple camera edits plague the entire film, from security to handheld phones to video cameras to even teddy bear cams, the camera also pops into places where no camera has been established. For example, there's a scene late in the film where Ronan is driving with Dodo in the back seat. In one sequence, the angle switches from the dash cam to the phone Ronan is holding, and then to some unknown camera close up to Dodo's face in the back. Again, shit like this decimates the illusion that this is some kind of untouched film found and presented. It's the authenticity of the film that makes the audience shed that disbelief a bit and scares them even more. Incantation doesn't really seem to give a shit about that. It just goes handheld for everything, no matter if the camera is in the scene or not. It seems to forget it's a found footage handheld POV film about halfway through and just tells a cinematically made film with shaky cam for the latter portions of the movie. Now, not all of Incantation is bad. There's a kitchen sink sort of way the scares are lobbed at the viewer in some of the more effective first-person POV shots. The filmmakers create a number of scenes that actually are scary, despite the use of music and multiple angle edits. There are a few scenes where some really freaky shit is hinted at in the shadows. There's a strobe light effect from the defective camera flash that works wonders and leads to the film's biggest jump scare. There are also quite a few odd and uncanny images involving the spirits that seem to be haunting Dodo, which she calls the baddie. All of this are pluses, and I have to say I jumped a time or two while watching. The relationship Ronan shares with little Toto is also developed decently. San Yen Sai is a strong actress, and the little darling who plays Toto is cute as a button on a button. The drama that ensues when their relationship is threatened works, for the most part, and you really feel for this pair as they literally are dragged through hell. That said, the pacing for Incantation is way off. Per usual with Netflix films, this one clocks in at almost 2 hours. That's a whole lot of shaky cam, folks. The pacing issues are especially prevalent towards the end as Ronan pleads to the camera as if she's speaking to her daughter in the future. This is a case where a little goes a long way, but instead of doing that, Ronan gabs and sobs incessantly, which made me reach for my phone even though the film was trying to desperately make me reach for a tissue. I don't know if this is the case where a Chinese film is overhyped so more people watch it, as the country seems to have deep ties into much of Hollywood. Or maybe it's just a cultural thing, where people in China and Taiwan just don't get to see many movies, so when something comes along that is reminiscent of The Grudge meets Grave Encounters, the people are dazzled by it. Or maybe I'm just jaded. But Incantation definitely didn't live up to the hype many have heaped upon it. It's overlong, messily edited, often quite confusing, and barely can be considered an authentic found footage film. There are a few solid scares, and I like the view into some dark Chinese culture, but that's about all I took away from it. If you're looking for this type of film done right, look no further than the Thai movie The Medium, now playing on Shudder. It's much more effective, has a stronger story piecing the whole thing together, is rich in local lore and culture, and is scary as all get out while adhering to a mockumentary format. That's much better time spent compared to my experience with Incantation. I wish I had a stronger film to celebrate with you for my 1,000 subscribers, but I'm sure I'll have much more worthwhile horrors to recommend in the future. Thanks again, folks. I really mean it, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're